Hello and welcome to another episode of Anthony Scouts. This is in fact the fourth episode, so yeah, it's only a small number to some, but for me, it's a big achievement. Um, you know, another step in the development, another step in me expressing myself, another step in doing something new, trying something new in my journalism career. Um, you know, yeah, so this is something I'm proud about. Um, something I'm gonna be continuing. Of course, you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, happy to be at this stage. So yeah, let's get going. Yeah, as usual, what do I talk about? I talk about football. Um, Premier League. This weekend was crazy. The City and Arsenal game topped things off perfectly. I thought it was another thrilling weekend of football. We got action everywhere. But first, I want to discuss the news that we just heard about Man City's kingpin, Man City's midfield linchpin, Man City's midfield maestro Rodri. And I'm sure you've all seen the news regarding Rodri after his injury that looked quite bad when he went down against Arsenal on Sunday after for a corner. But yeah, we've the news has been confirmed. He's possibly, well, he is out for the rest of the season, which is huge, which is significant, which is massive, which is it could be a dampener to City. It could be a source of encouragement to Arsenal, their closest rivals. It could be a source of encouragement to Liverpool. However they do under Arne Slot. Of course, for me, I don't want it to be a two-horse race. I want more teams involved, and if Liverpool can be involved, that's more the merrier. But yeah, this is huge news. Rodri, as we all know, has been arguably the best number six, the best defensive midfielder we've seen over the last few years. Um, dominating that midfield with Pep Guardiola, everything runs through him in terms of um the way City build up, the way City maintain, sustain pressure. Everything you want him to do is always pops up with the crucial goals as well. That signature long shot from outside the box. Whenever City need points, he's there. Whenever City need to win, whenever City need to grind out results, he's there. He's the one that's holding it down in the midfield. Um, Everything you want your number six to do, Rodri does to an elite quality, world class standard. But yeah, this is huge news. This is significant. For me, I'm I'm on the fence with this one. On one side, I feel this could really affect City mentally. Well, they're mentality monsters. We've seen them win the treble. We've seen the way they won the title last season. With Arsenal on up their backs. Throughout the whole season, they still had the sheer will, the sheer confidence, the arrogance, determination to get over the line. So um, you know, affecting them mentally. Maybe I put that wrong, but yeah, it will be a dampener in the dressing room. Not knowing, when you're preparing for games, preparing for even the big games, and you don't see Rodri next to you. That's a huge loss. But yeah, Pep Guardiola is without his he's without his coach on the pitch. Rodri's the one that orchestrates everything, keeps things together, glues things together. Um, but yeah, on the other side, I'm thinking City are still strong without him. They've got Haaland, De Bruyne, and Bernardo, who are just as crucial to City as Rodri is. You know, Haaland's unstoppable, De Bruyne's unstoppable, Bernardo Silva. City don't control a game when Bernardo isn't there, and if we've seen it this season already. They've played 4 or 5 games without Rodri, and they've still been immaculate. So yeah, in terms of that aspect, I don't think it will affect them being the City we know they can be, the City we know that they are. Um, but yeah, I do feel it is a massive loss. Um, let's point out De Bruyne he hasn't got the same legs. He's not going to be playing every game at the same in my opinion. To be honest, I don't think we're going to see. I don't think De Bruyne has got the legs to maintain to do what he's done for a prolonged period. He's getting injuries now and then. He missed the Arsenal game at the weekend. So he's gonna be picking up niggles. Guardiola's gonna be forced to rest him in certain games because he just hasn't got the same legs anymore. As you saw in the international break, you know he just didn't look in the last game. Just didn't look his usual self. But yeah, again, it'll be up to Guardiola to use De Bruyne in the right moments, in the right games. Um, you know, preserve him. Keep him match fit. Because again, he's getting the injuries. He's already had what 2 or 3 injuries already. That's allowed him, just forced him to miss games. Um, so yeah, I don't think he's gonna have the same effect as we know De Bruyne. He's still going to be De Bruyne, but he's not going to do it over a prolonged season. So again, we'll see how Guardiola tries to you know um, utilize De Bruyne. How which games he uses him in. Does he cut out the domestic competitions for him completely? Just play him in the Premier League, or in the Champions League, just use someone else. Look at Mateus Nunes, who hasn't been playing that much. Is it time Guardiola starts trusting him in midfield? Um, you know, the- City are gonna need every player in the squad. Now that Rodri's out, they're gonna need every player in that squad. So Mateus Nunes is an option. Again, he's a quality player. I don't know. I really feel for him. He's joined City at the wrong time for me. Game changer midfielder. Game changer number 8. The way he receives the ball on half turn, the way he carries the ball, the way he moves with it, functions in a team that's possession heavy. How City um you know, it's quite sad that he hasn't had the game time he would have hoped when he moved from Wolves, so 2 seasons ago. I really thought that this was the chance for us to see the real Mateus Nunes in a big team, but it just hasn't happened for him. And f- you know, to be honest, as much as it's sad for him, it's understandable because when you got De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, I mean, yeah, Gundogan even season before last, Foden playing there. It's hard to get in there. But I feel this season with Rodri gone, with De Bruyne not in the same fitness levels as he once was, Mateus Nunes, Guardiola's gonna have to put him in. I feel, um, but yeah, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that fares. Um, but again, and not just De Bruyne, Gundogan's not quality, amazing midfielder. But again, he's not going to be playing every game. He hasn't got the same legs as he once did. Even for Barcelona last season, he was used. He was playing a lot during the early course of the season, but then his contribution started to wane. And then as things started to get bleak for Barcelona under Xavi, we rarely saw Gundogan. And then again, that's because he doesn't have the same legs as he once did. Um, so again, how does Guardiola, use him? How does Guardiola put him in certain games? How does Guardiola, give him, what games will he play him in? What how will he get him to the levels we know Gundogan is? Will he cut him out of certain games? Will he rest him in certain games? Will he give him the same amount of TLC is De Bruyne, make them ready for the games that matters most. But again, with Rodri out, you're gonna need to rely on Gundogan. Gundogan can play the 6. He can play that Rodri role. He can play that number 8 role. He can play number 10. Anywhere in midfield you want Gundogan, he can play. But again, how will Guardiola use it? And I feel this will be a really a true test of how Guardiola can can mix and match and try and find a formula that works best without Rodri. We know Guardiola wants total control, and City can play the same way without him, without Rodri. It's just that they need to have the likes of Gundogan, De Bruyne, Bernardo in there. Um, they need to have the likes of those guys playing regularly. Can they play? Can they play every game? Champions League, if City want to be going for treble again and quadruple, what do we play? We'll see. But again, as I've suggested, it's time Mateus Nunes gets the minutes he deserves. There's always time. Mateus Nunes gets the minutes his qualities deserve. You know. But yeah, this is huge news, especially for Arsenal, who showed on Sunday that you know they are a match for anyone. And I feel for me, hats off to Arteta and his whole squad, the whole team. Um, you know, going to Tottenham, traveling there, winning, getting a 1-0 win, going to Atalanta in Italy, Bergamo, and then grinding out a 0-0 draw, even when they're not at the best. Even at times, apart from the penalty, Atalanta never really troubled Arsenal or sustained any sort of rhythm or attack against Arsenal. And we always thought Arsenal were going to walk away with something. Again, that just goes to show how good defensively they are, as I mentioned in my previous episode. But yeah, kudos to Arsenal, going to Tottenham, winning there, going to Atalanta, and then going to City. That must take huge amounts of mental fatigue, tiredness, just drainage. But to get, what's that, 5 points from those 3 games, and then exert control defensively, exert control when you have the ball, exert confidence and ooze class, in defense, you know um when you need to be, solid, when you need to be clinical. Arsenal did that against Atalanta. Yeah, they, it was only a 0-0 draw, but if you can't win, don't lose. And that's I guess that was the motto for Arsenal, both in Atalanta and when Trossard got sent off against City, which I thought, was silly, quite silly from him. Yeah, we saw Haaland do it, we saw Doku do it, Jeremy Doku do it, and they should have been sanctioned. They should have been yellow carded. Again, goes to show that the levels of inconsistency we're seeing in referees in the Premier League these days. But yeah, Trossard should not have done that. It's the same thing as Declan Rice against Brighton. Do not put yourself in those situations. You're an elite player playing in an elite team. Don't get yourself in situations where you're gonna get in trouble. Trossard should not have kicked the ball away. Yeah, it was a foul, but then don't go and kick the ball away. Yeah, okay, you may argue, okay, you didn't know the referees, but the ref, if you see the replays, you can see the ref blew the whistle, and then Trossard, milliseconds later, Trossard kicked the ball away. It's things like that you don't want to get yourself into those situations. But again, the way Arsenal defended in that second half was absolutely unbelievable. But to be honest, City didn't do themselves any favors. The way they were approaching things. Kept playing side to side. Trying to shoot with Ruben Diaz outside the box. Not the best player to be using in those situations. When you've got Foden on the bench and you only came on with what, 10, 15, 20 minutes to go. I feel Guardiola should have brought on Foden from the half time, in my opinion. But yeah, City didn't do themselves any favors. The way they approached things, and trying to break down Arsenal's low block. If you're going to be doing that, passing side to side, try and create angles, try and get one-on-one situations, not just shooting from the edge of the box from Ruben Diaz. That's not the best solution to do. Um, but yeah, credit to Arsenal, who I thought were immaculate defensively. Just that last that last second, that last millisecond, that last split decision, where Grealish took the ball quickly from the corner, you know, and then immediately, yeah, City just scored from the havoc caused in the box. Um, but yeah, huge credit to Arsenal again. A true sign of their title credentials, a true sign of how they can mix it with the best, even when they're not, you know, circumstances are against them, even when things aren't going their way. They still can grind out a result because they are so good defensively. As I said in the previous episode, Arteta for me is the best defensive coach in the world. Yeah, you got your Simone Inzaghi's, you got your Antonio Conte's, but the way Guardiola sets his teams up, even in these big matches, is just attention. The attention to detail is superb. The way they close the spaces, even when City were camped inside the final third, the way Arsenal just closed spaces, the way Arsenal did not allow the best players to operate the way they used to, the way they usually do. The attention to details was brilliant. And I know there's this discourse going around that Arsenal were too defensive. Before the second goal, Arsenal had 60% possession. But, before they scored the second goal, Arsenal had 60% possession. So it goes to show that Arsenal can control things even when circumstances are against them. The way they responded after Haaland got the opener, I thought was very impressive. I've got nothing but praise for Arteta, and as I constantly saying on this pod, I'm a huge fan of Arteta. Um, you know, even before his Arsenal, even before he got the job at Arsenal, you saw the impact he had at City. Guardiola said he couldn't do without him at times. The level of impact and influence he had behind the scenes. We didn't see it. And Guardiola said himself he couldn't do the job he did without Arteta by his side. Now look what Arteta's doing at Arsenal. Yeah, we had the difficulty finishing eighth and then eighth again 2 seasons, but then how he's now taking them to title challenges is brilliant. But now, as I said in the previous episode, can Arsenal now get that final moment to win the title? That final ingredient, that final key, to beating City, to winning the domestic cups. Can Arsenal last the whole um the whole season? But again, as I was conversing with someone recently, um, about the effect of Rodri not being in the team now, and Arsenal having using this as their confidence boost, as an encouragement to say, okay, yes, now guys, let's take advantage of this now. We need to have a strong season. But as I was speaking with someone, they said, do Arsenal have the depth? If Saka's not there, who's replacing Saka? And I thought, oh wow, that's very true. There's no who's playing if Saka doesn't play. Who's coming in and doing a job to a crazy amount of who's going to back up Saka when he's unavailable. Do Arsenal have that even with Odegaard out now? I've noticed that Arsenal have lacked control without Odegaard. They don't press the way they used to. They don't sustain pressure in the final third the way they used to without Odegaard. And they can still get points, but can it be sustained over a prolonged period? No, he's gonna be out for until November, I believe. So who can step in? Even with Rice out, out when he was out for the their last game, against Tottenham. Um, you know, um, it just wasn't the same. Who could step in for Rice? Jorginho I thought was excellent against Tottenham. I thought it was brilliant. Partey has his moments. There are some instances where he loses his concentration, and that seeps in, that really affects Arsenal. But again, where's the attacking depth? Okay, yeah, you got Martinelli, you got Sterling. Well, Sterling can play on the right side if Saka's not there. Yeah, I just thought of that now. Wait, that's a quality replacement to have actually. Saka, Sterling for Saka. Yeah, just thought of that now. But yeah, so mm, Arsenal do have depth. But again, it's at number 9 where you know where Haaland, Havertz, you know, where's the Haaland, Jesus, Haaland, Havertz, Haaland. You know, if Arsenal had a top tier striker, you can say, wow, okay, yes, Arsenal can maintain something. So it'll be interesting to see how Arteta over, how he negates the need for a number 9. How he, set pieces have been a huge factor. The way Gabriel attacked that ball on Sunday, oh my god, that was crazy. That was crazy. And it's like every game, it looks like Gabriel's going to score from a corner. So those of you on Fantasy Premier League, get Gabriel in your defense ASAP. The way he attacks a ball, it is ruthless. Um, and again, we saw Kyle Walker's weird and unconventional defending when he tried to he's grabbing his shirt, picking at his shirt, and then he completely lost him. Completely, nowhere to be seen when Gabriel went to attack the ball. So it's terrible defending. And in fact, Kyle Walker's at fault for both goals. Again, so those who feel that Kyle Walker's the answer for City at right back, he no longer is. He no longer is the right answer for right back for England. So yeah, but the way Arsenal, yeah, the way Arsenal performed in that game, I thought was really impressive. People can say City got the better of the of the situation, of the circumstance. Getting a draw, maintaining their home record. Um, so yeah, huge point, to be honest, for Arsenal, considering the circumstances. Yeah, they got a man down. The games they played, Tottenham away, Atalanta away, and they having to go to Etihad as well. Not losing any of those games. If you can't win, don't lose. And those are the small details. If Arsenal had won that, I would have thought, yeah, truly deserved. Um, I don't think they didn't deserve a point for me. They deserve the 3 points for me. Um, but yeah, wonderful team. The way wonderful the way Arteta's got them set up defensively, man. Crazy. Calafiori getting amongst the goals. Tremendous goal that was. Um, Again, that just goes to show how technically gifted, technically sound Calafiori is. Um, Wonderful player. The way he inverts from left back into midfield, and he does it so confidently, so assuredly. If you remember what he did at the Euros for Italy, when he ran through the center of the center of the opposition, laid on a through ball for one of the wing backs to score. Amazing player. And again, Arsenal's backline: Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori. Technical demons, crazy. That's the levels Arteta's got this team to, from Socrates, Papadopoulos, whatever his name was. Who did he have alongside him? Who did he have back then? When he started, to from that to this, amazing. But yeah, you just know, Arsenal not gonna. For me, Arsenal not gonna lose more than 3 games this season in the Premier League. Arsenal not gonna lose more than 3 games. You know, just because of the defending. The defending is so good. The way Arteta gets them to defend, even when they're under pressure, you just know Arsenal are walking away from this unscathed. Arsenal walking away with this with a point somehow, or with 3 points. That's how good they are. But yeah, I thought they were excellent, magnificent against City. But yeah, So yeah, this Rodri injury, it'll be interesting to see how how City fare from here on in. Again, I think they'll be fine, but football is as mental as it is technical and tactical. So how City pick themselves up, it's a real blow. As I said before, when you're in the dressing room, even in the big games, the Liverpool's, Arsenal, and you don't see Rodri next to you. That's a dampener. But again, City are arguably one of the best mental teams in the whole sport. So they should be fine. But again, it'll be interesting to see how Guardiola, um, 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 lines up his team. You know, they just played on Sunday. They're gonna play on Tuesday again against who they got in the Carabao Cup. Is it Bolton, I believe, which is a home tie. But yeah, playing 2 days later. I don't want to dredge up some frustration on the fixture schedule. The calendar is ridiculous. Um, yeah, they got Bolton in the Carabao Cup. Um, let's just check that. Let's just confirm that before. No, Watford, not Bolton. I think Arsenal got Bolton. Uh, yeah, I believe Arsenal have Bolton. Let me check that before I don't wanna be giving out wrong information. You know, it's a bad look as a journalist. uh, yeah, Arsenal are facing Bolton Wanderers on Tuesday at night at 7. On Wednesday at 7:45. Yep, I got that right. Yeah, so it'll be interesting. Even Arsenal, with the injury problems, how Arteta rotate for this game against Bolton. It should be an easy win for me. But yeah, how will he get in one Neri, who I suggested, he, Arsenal going to need some youthful exuberance with our older guard. Someone to be imaginative, someone to be unpredictable in the final third when they need wins, when they need points again. So again, get. And I know Arteta will rotate. He should rotate. I don't want to be seeing Saka in that starting lineup on Wednesday. If I'm being honest, Arsenal, he needs to rotate. Get Sterling, get him some minutes in his legs. Get one Neri in there. You know, Lewis Skelly. Get those youngsters on the pitch. Get them some game time. But yeah, we'll see how the title race fares. It's only 5 games in now, but yeah, interesting how things shapes up now without Rodri. That's a huge injury blow for City. But again, as I said, you know, they've got the players to make up for it. They've got Guardiola, who's the best tactician we've ever seen in the history of the game, in my opinion. Yeah, so we'll see how that fares. But yeah, so as I said, crazy weekend we had, which kicked off with West Ham against Chelsea. Chelsea went comfortable 3-0 win. I thought West Ham were terrible. West Ham were awful. For me, when I saw Lopetegui through the day, he's not the most tactically innovative. He's not the best tactically, but I thought there's going to be some sort of improvement. It was just say the same old West Ham against Chelsea. Starting slowly and then allowing the team to get a race into a 3-goal lead, and then not having the tools to fight back again. I thought West Ham lacked desire, lacked intensity, lacked character. It was only a handful of players that performed. Somerville I thought was brilliant on his first start. I thought it was excellent. Crescencio Somerville, again, another player I've talked about on here. Another player I analysed from Anthony Scouts, top player he's going to be. But again, conditions and environments. Is West Ham can he, despite what's going on at the London Stadium right now, can he find the tools? Can he find the innate ability to perform even when things aren't going his way? That's the next step in his development. I thought it was terrific at Leeds. I thought he showed those levels again against Chelsea. I thought it was excellent. Um, but yeah, there's only a handful of players that impressed me for not even a handful. What, two players? Who else was impressive? He played up front. Yeah, Kudus and Somerville were really good. I thought the only two players that really gave West Ham any sort of imagination and inventiveness in the final third. But again, for me, Lopetegui is playing the wrong players. Uh, starting at the back, Mavropanos is not is Mavropanos won't get you into the Europa League. He won't get you to those levels. For me, Lopetegui has to find a way to get John Clare Todibo, fit and firing and ready to go instantly, because there were instances against Chelsea where Chelsea were picking off the right the left flank with Jadon Sancho's side. So many times they ran, they created scenarios where from their build up, they used their usual 3-2-5 shape, which I thought was impressive. The way they ran through midfield got onto the left hand side, and Mavropanos was nowhere to be seen. Edson Alvarez had to cover him on that flank to give West Ham some defensive solidity. And I thought, if that really is the case, then what is the point? What is the point in Lopetegui playing 2 6s? You know what I mean? If Edson Alvarez is going to cover Mavropanos, who should be covering that right side if Wan-Bissaka's caught up field. I thought West Ham were poor tactically. Even that instance I thought was not a good sign at all. It's huge pressure on Lopetegui to get things right. And for me, I think that starts for West Ham fans to see proper quality again. John Clare Todibo needs to start alongside Max Kilman at centre back for me. Mavropanos should not be starting for me. If West Ham want to get back to the levels where they, got to Europa League, got to or even Europa Conference League, finishing in those positions again, they need to get Todibo in there. He can cover those wide areas to excellent standard. He's aggressive. He's combative. He's excellent in 1v1 duels. You rarely see him get beaten. Dribble past easily by a Sancho or by a in when he was in Liga. But I know Premier League is a different kettle of fish. But again, conditions and environments. Lopetegui has to build the right conditions, the right environment for Todibo to thrive instantly. And again, centre back for me is arguably the hardest position on the pitch in the modern day. Centre backs are given huge amounts of responsibility in terms of building from the back, in terms of defending those wide areas when team managers want their fullbacks to be inverted into midfield or even overlapping underlapping, and then so your wide centre back or your has to be able to defend those wide areas, defend those wide spaces when teams are playing on a counter, when teams are exploiting those spaces that the fullback leaves. Defenders are tasked nowadays to cover those wide areas. Why do you think Guardiola plays Vardio at left back? Because he can defend those wide areas. He can defend those scenarios. Why is Arteta now playing Timber at left back, not Zinchenko, not someone else? Because Timber can defend those wide areas. Again, is hugely imperative for centre backs to not just cover the centre as they call a centre back, but to cover the wide spaces as well, cover the gaps where their fullbacks are leaving. And for me, Mavropanos cannot do that. Todibo can do that. Kilman can do that. For me, that's the perfect combination at centre back for West Ham. And then again, Lopetegui going too defensively. And if you're going too defensive in terms of playing two similar profiles in midfield, and the same problems are occurring in terms of you're not pressing well, you're not getting back into position well. That's why Chelsea was so given the freedom of London, given the freedom of East London to create chances. Look at Jackson running the way he did to score that goal. No contention, no players running up against him, no players showing any intensity, showing any drive and desire to try and stop him from going towards goal. And if you're playing two number sixes and those things are happening, something's wrong. Something's tactically wrong. Um, so for me, Lopetegui is under huge pressure to get things right at West Ham. You know, or else he's in trouble. First time in a long time, West Ham have lost their first three, or is it the first time ever? First time ever in the Premier League they've lost their first three home games in a Premier League season, which is very poor, which is very worrying as well, because we always know London Stadium is one of the toughest places to go over the last few years, and for that record to have, so early in your tenure, it doesn't make for good reading, doesn't make for good encouragement, or any sort of encouragement for the West Ham fans. So something's got to give for Lopetegui. Suchek came on and even though I'm not really a fan of his, you know Suchek came on and did a job. If Lopetegui is gonna have to revert back to that, playing Alvarez or with Rodriguez, who really, for me, they aren't pulling up any trees right now. Edson Alvarez and Guido Rodriguez. Rodriguez is struggling to acclimatize himself to the Premier League, the pace of the Premier League. Edson Alvarez hasn't got up to speed after just coming back from injury. So, it's interesting to see how Lopetegui fixes that for West Ham's next game. I don't know who they've got next. I think they're away to Brentford. Who, when coming up, when Brentford are against these sort, West Hams, the Fulhams, and you always think, yeah, Brentford are gonna come away with a point or three. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see how Lopetegui fixes those issues against Brentford, because that's another tough game. The fans are going to need a reaction of some sort, and Thomas Frank's Brentford isn't the best team to try and cook up some sort of inspiration or cook up some sort of redemption plan. So it'll be interesting to see how West Ham fare in that game. But yeah, we saw some really intriguing encounters. Fulham beating Newcastle the way they did, I thought was surprising. That was Newcastle's first loss of the season. I thought Fulham were very impressive. Again, I'm a big fan of Marcus Silva. I think he's one of the most underrated coaches in the league for me. The way he's got Fulham playing, playing out from the back with such confidence. And Anthony Robinson bombing up and down the left flank as he usually does, as we see him do. For me, I think if we're to sign, me as a United fan, if we're to sign a left back in the next summer or anything, I think he's one of my top targets. I think he's perfect. I think he's excellent defender. I think he's underrated defensively. He's excellent defensively, more excellent than people give him credit for. But bombing up and down the left flank, I think he's excellent. I think he's perfect. So if we're to sign a left back, he's someone I would definitely go for. But yeah, Fulham are Joachim Anderson at centre back with who did they have at centre back against Newcastle? Yeah, so they had Calvin Bassey, Joachim Anderson, Kenny Tete. That's a solid back four. Although Bassey does have his moments of lackadaisical. He can be lackadaisical a bit. He can lose concentration. But yeah, he's looked solid last couple of games. But yeah, Fulham were very impressive against Newcastle. Raul Jimenez getting back in the goals. I thought, yeah, I'm so happy for him. I think how many he's got now? Three or four. 3 or 4 goals in the league so far. Which is impressive considering the struggles he's had since his head injury. But yeah, it's good. So glad to see him back in the goals again. Um, Smith Rowe. Um, establishing himself in the team. I'm really happy for him as well. Getting the game time he craves, getting the game time his quality needs, and we're seeing it now. So yeah, only 5 games in, he's got 2 goals. But what as the season goes on, we're gonna see the best of Emil Smith Rowe. Adama Traore reinventing himself. He's a permanent fixture in the team. Permanent fixture in the team now. We're seeing him running rampant. On the right hand side. So yeah, and then you got Reece Nelson to back you up. You got so many options on the bench. Fulham have um, Ryan Sexton-Young, Rodrigo Muniz, Reece Nelson, Sander Burrs, Tom Kearney. Fulham have got a good depth in their squad. I do feel they will need another left winger. If Marcus Silva wants to get, who will be in the central areas, or if he wants to get another, speedy attacker, someone that's good 1v1s. You're not gonna have it will be beating his marker 1v1 all game. So I do feel that Fulham do need another outlet on the wing, but all in all, it's looking good. Newcastle, yeah, surprised the way they lost. Even the Bruno Guimara's mistake at the end. For the third goal, for Fulham's third goal, I thought was very surprising. You don't see him usually make those sort of mistakes. But Eddie Howe will be hoping that's a one-off. But yeah, the manner in which Newcastle lost, I thought when Harvey Barnes scored just after halftime, I thought, okay, yeah, Newcastle are getting back into this. I think they're going. They could even come back and nick it. But yeah, uh, impressive for Fulham. Managing to hold out until the last minute, and then getting a goal from Reece Nelson. So yeah, impressive result for Fulham. Other results, which other telling results, which I found intriguing. Yeah, Liverpool getting their 3-0 win at Bournemouth, even though Bournemouth did have their moments. If Semenyo had scored that, would it have been another Liverpool Nottingham Forest the other week when Forest beat them? But yeah, routine win for Liverpool. I think Liverpool looking really strong. I do hope they are within the again. I'm a United fan, so forgive me, United fans, for saying this, but I really do hope Liverpool are in the title race. I don't want to see a 2-horse race. I want to see a 3-horse race. I want to see more teams involved. And if Liverpool can keep up this sort of momentum, sustain it for a long period, like City and Arsenal do, or like we've seen over the past couple of seasons, then I do think Arne Slot can really do something special there. But yeah, Luis Diaz looking like a proper winger again. For me, he's lacked consistency. For me, as a little the past couple seasons, the past few seasons he's been at Anfield. I think he'll be good for 2 games, then he'll be off for 5 games, and you come back again, he'll be off for 7 games. He's lacked consistency for me. But it's good to see him. Getting back to the levels we know he can do. If he could do it over a prolonged, a sustained amount of time, he can fulfill his promise of being one of the best wingers in the world. For me, in terms of out and out talent, he is. But again, to be the best, you've got to be consistent. And hopefully we see Diaz doing make performing to those levels every week. I don't want to be seeing him performing for 2 games and then he's off for the next 5 games. So yeah, he needs to be doing every week. But yeah, Liverpool looking impressive. Again, they still got the Trent Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk, and Mohamed Salah contract situations languishing over their heads. Will they get that done by the time the season's done? Because from January the 1st, they can be talking to other teams for over a free transfer. And if I was Liverpool, I'll be I'll be getting on the phone right now to Trent's agents and getting the contract tied up, because you don't want to be losing Trent, a player of that quality. You know, the way he's been performing on the slot so far has been absolutely tremendous. Unreal player. Um, Losing that sort of player on a free contract, on a free, no way. Sorry, that can't happen. That cannot happen. If I will be very surprised, actually very shocked, in fact, if Trent leaves on a free contract next season. Very, very shocked. Um, Liverpool have to they have to do everything, even if they lose Virgil van Dijk and Salah, that will be worth it, and keep Trent. For me, for me, keep Trent. Trent is he is the future um of Liverpool. So yeah, even if, losing the agony, the benefits of keeping Trent outweighs the agony of losing Salah and Virgil van Dijk. For me, they've got to get on the phone and offer Trent the money he wants. Offer him best right back in the world right now. Unreal. He reached 100 goal involvements. Is it 19 goals, and the rest were assists. So far in his Liverpool career, which is just unreal for a right back. Crazy levels. I think the first player since Gerrard to reach reach that milestone. So yeah, it's crazy levels Trent is playing at right now. Even or he has been over a prolonged course of his Liverpool career. But yeah, Liverpool need to get that contract tied down. As I said, the benefits of keeping Trent outweighs the agony of losing Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah. For me, they need to tie down Trent to that contract ASAP. They can't afford to lose him for free. For me, that's crazy if that happens. But yeah, I really do hope they can get that done. Yeah, I don't want to see Trent go to Real Madrid. Please no, please, no way, no way. He's got to stay in the Premier League. But yeah, any other notable hugely disappointed for United against Palace. I thought one of the best tactical performances we've shown under Ten Hag. I thought we were dominant for 65 minutes until we saw Eriksen come off. I thought we were brilliant. And again, we showed we've improved technically. Once you have such technical outlets, Eriksen, Diallo, Xerxes was off the scale, off the charts against Palace. The way he drops in, creates space for others, the way he links play, even when he drops in, immaculate player. Yeah, I thought we were brilliant, but all those chances, Bruno, that outside of the foot chance, he scores that. He scores that on another day. Garnacho's shot that hit the bar, the one that Henderson brilliantly saved. I was disappointed, but again, we caught Henderson on a good day. We caught Henderson on a top class form. So unfortunately, we couldn't get the 3 points, because that would have been a perfect representation of the levels that we should be reaching under Ten Hag consistently. But yeah, I thought we were brilliant in possession. We had the 3-2-5. We had Mazraoui stepping as part of the back three. Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez, then Dalot inverting with Mainu in midfield, Eriksen and Fernandez in the eights. That positional rigidity and structure. Because we've been we were too fluid last season, and that meant that we were so lost. Players didn't know where to run, they didn't know where to go in possession. I think that's been a real fault of ours under Ten Hag. We've been too loose in possession, too fluid for our own good. But yeah, it was good to see some structure, good to see some rigidness. And then that enables us to counter press, that enables us to stay compact, even when we lost the ball. Until like the last 20-15 minutes, didn't see Palace create anything. meaningful. And that was because of the structure we held. That was because of the counter pressing. The pressing was brilliant. Um, because we were compact, because we had a structure in place. And Ten Hag needs to maintain that. If we're going to be matching Tottenham and Aston Villa in the next few games, we need to be playing with that sort of confidence, playing with that sort of structure, playing with that sort of compactness off on and off the ball. But yeah, disappointing not to get the 3 points. Happy we kept things shored up at the back. We're improving defensively. I read a report recently that United, behind the scenes, United are really optimistic about things improving. But again, we want to see the fruits of it. We want to see the fruits of those beliefs. So, yeah, I like what I saw against Palace. Would have been really nice to get the 3 points, even if it's just a 1-0 where we scored a lucky on goal. That would have, we would have deserved that. We deserved the win. We could have so easily have lost that if Eze was more. If we caught Eze on a good day like Dean Henderson, he could really easily have scored those 2 chances he had. So again, that's the little details we need to fix. Making sure that we're clinical, so that when those opportunities come for the opponents, we're not affected by it. There's not a chance we can lose the game because we've dominated. We've been clinical. That the teams can't. Teams don't have the confidence to even. To, teams don't even have the encouragement, the confidence to even try and win the game because we're clinical. We've won the game in the first half. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a bittersweet point. That one. Excellent football we played, but not the result wasn't good in the end. But yeah, tough games we've got coming up. We've got 20 in the Europa League, and we've got Tottenham. Then I believe we've got we've got Aston Villa, then FC Porto. Yeah, that is hella tough. So if again we have to keep those levels and those structure, that possession structure in over these next few games and see how we fare. But yeah, other notable scores. I thought the Brighton and Nottingham Forest game on Sunday was excellent. And again, as I mentioned in the previous episode, I said that Nottingham Forest, we're truly seeing that this is a Nuno Espirito Santo team. Excellent physically. They give 100%. They run their legs off. But also they match that with quality. Morgan Gibbs-White, Chris Wood banging in goals like he has been over the past this calendar year. Morgan Gibbs-White, Anthony Elanga, Callum Hudson-Odoi. You got the guy that scored what's his name again? The guy that scored their equalizer against Brighton, who I thought he looks really, really impressive for me. I forgot his name now. Yeah, Roman Sosa. Yeah, excellent pickup in the transfer window. I think he's excellent. Someone to come on and cause havoc against tired legs. He's a good prospect. But yeah, I thought Forest were excellent. I know Gibbs White got the red card, which I thought was a red card, or a second yellow. I did feel it was a second yellow. I thought it was a reckless challenge on João Pedro. And again, he didn't need to make that challenge. Pedro wasn't going anywhere. Just keep him there. I don't know why players like to, exert dominance, exert aggression by making challenges that don't need to be made. And again, that cost Gibbs White. But yeah, I thought Forest did well to hold on to the point. It was an excellent point given the circumstances. They could so easily have won. Actually, there was an instance just before the end when Jota had a counter attack, and then he had Callum Hudson-Odoi on one side, and then I think it was Hudson-Odoi on his left, and Sosa on his right, and then he didn't pick that pass in time. When he picked the pass, it ended up being offside. So those instances, for those fringe players, those players that are coming on to make impact. You know, if they had those levels that Elanga and Hudson-Odoi shows, we'll start to see Forest picking up wins. But we're starting to see Forest, truly in the Nuno mode. Excellent physical levels. They can defend, but when they attack, they can be frightening. As you saw when he managed Wolves, when he had those Pedro Neto, Raul Jimenez, who was the Diogo Jota, when he had them guys running right, Mateus Nunez, who's now at City, when he had those players in the Wolves or in Europa League, it'll be mightily impressive if Nuno can get Forest to those levels again. But yeah, I'm starting to see really good things from them. Starting to really truly take things, starting to take shape at Forest. And that's credit to the owners, give them the time and the resources to build a team. But yeah, really interesting to see what they do for the rest of the season. Brighton, I think will be fine. But again, I feel defensively they're lacking. For me, um, as we saw in the game during the game. But yeah, I think Brighton will be fine. Excellent collectively. Excellent personnel. The way Danny Welbeck scored that free kick was mightily impressive. Um, but yeah, it'll be again interesting to see how Fabian Hertzler mixes and matches. What's his best lineup? What's his best XI? Just like Chelsea, so many talents in the weaponry. How can they, get the best formula to win games, to compete, against the best. Interesting to see how Fabian Hertzler does in his first season. But from what I've seen, really impressive. They still got some players in injuries, injured or players that aren't up to the physical levels we know they can reach. Like Evan Ferguson, one of the most impressive young strikers in the league, in my opinion. And can he get back to those levels we saw last season when he bagging goals for fun, when he was fit. So I really do hope he does. He's not an injury prone player. Um, but yeah, big job on Hertzler's hands. With the quality that you've got, you're expected to finish at a certain level, expect to perform at a certain level. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Brighton do in that respect. But yeah, Premier League is, as always, amazing. Um, amazing football we're seeing already. 5 games in, the way Villa won at the end. Wolves had them on the ropes for 80 minutes, and then we saw the last. People talking about Aston Villa hangover from the Champions League, from their impressive 3-0 win over Young Boys. To people talking about hangover, can Wolves take advantage? But then Aston Villa just conjured up some last piece of magic, went on to win 3-1. You can never write teams off in the Premier League. You can never lose your concentration or complacency. If you're complacent, you'll be punished. And that was Wolves. Um, you know, so easily. When they 1-0, 1 second, 1 minute, the next losing 3-1, and you lose the game. That's how gruesome, that's how ruthless the Premier League is. But yeah, as we saw, really, really exciting. Really exciting games we saw over the weekend. But yeah, so just 5 games in. Let's see what happens next. Let's see what happens in the next few weeks. Again, going over the Rodri injury. How was City fare? What's Arsenal's response? What kind of um how can I put it? Mental, how what kind of mental state would Man City be in after that injury? What kind of mental state will Arsenal be in after that news? Can Liverpool join them? There's so many little um you know so many little nuggets, so many little scenarios to keep an eye on over the course of the season. But yes, it's shaping up really good, shaping up really well. A lot to speak about in the coming weeks and days. I know, tight fixture schedule, long. It's going to be a long season, but yeah, so much for me to speak on, so much for me to talk about. But yeah, thank you for being patient. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, subscribe to my channel, Anthony Scouts, and comment whatever you like. What's your thoughts on Rodri news? What's your thoughts on how Arsenal, can Arsenal, win? Can Arsenal take advantage? Can Liverpool will Liverpool be challengers at the end, come May? United, can they get back into the Champions League next season? What's next for Ten Hag? But yeah, comment, like, subscribe, please share, and thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'm out.